At 2:05 a.m., Emma Wilson's eyes snapped open, the glowing digits of her bedside clock casting an eerie light across her small, pale face, twisted in terror. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. The bump on her neck, dismissed by her mother as a mosquito bite for days, now pulsed with a sickening rhythm, like a heartbeat that wasn't hers. With trembling fingers, the 8-year-old clicked on her unicorn flashlight, its beam shaking as she stumbled to the bathroom mirror. What she saw made her stomach lurch. The once tiny red mark had swollen to the size of marble, angry and red, with a dark center that seemed to move. No, that couldn't be right. Things didn't move under your skin. But as Emma stared, frozen in horror, her worst nightmare came to life. The center split and something thin, black, and unmistakably leg-like emerged, waving blindly in the air. Her scream shattered the silence of their cramped pinewood apartment, slicing through the night like a blade. Laura Wilson, bone-tired from a double shift, bolted upright in bed. What had Emma seen? And why had Laura ignored it for so long? Share your thoughts. What's the scariest health scare you faced? Drop your city in the comments. Emma Wilson, at 8 years old, was a spark of curiosity in a world that felt too heavy for her small shoulders. Her blonde pigtails bounced as she explored the woods behind her Pinewood apartment complex in Millbrook, Ohio, collecting rocks, leaves, and the occasional beetle in a mason jar. Her bright blue eyes, inherited from her late father, David, sparkled with a hunger to understand the world. Small for her age but fierce, Emma carried her father's adventurous spirit and her mother's stubborn resolve. She'd spend hours by the creek, sketching insects or watching minnows dart through murky water, blissfully unaware of the dangers lurking in the humid summer air. Her mother, Laura Wilson, 32, looked closer to 42. 2 years of grief since losing David to an IED in Afghanistan had etched deep lines around her eyes. Once a skilled pediatric nurse, Laura now juggled morning shifts at the Quick-Stop convenience store and evening office cleaning jobs. Her hands, once gentle healers, were cracked from harsh chemicals. Their 2-bedroom apartment, perched on the edge of Millbrook's industrial zone, was all they could afford after medical bills for Laura's mother's COPD forced the sale of their modest home. Water-stained ceilings, drafty windows, and roaches were constants, but Laura kept it spotless when exhaustion allowed. It began on a sweltering Monday in late July 2025. Emma, home from summer school, spent the morning by the creek, catching bugs and dodging mosquitoes. She returned home scratching a small red bump below her hairline. "Mom, I'm hungry," she called, dropping her jar on the counter. Laura, rushing to her Quick-Stop shift, glanced at the mark. "Just a mosquito bite, Em. Calamine's in the medicine cabinet. Love you, gotta run." Her nurses, I clocked it as minor, red, slightly raised, no worse than the welts dotting Emma's arms from summer bugs. By evening, Emma slathered on calamine, the itching keeping her awake as she watched cartoons alone. Laura, home at 10:45 p.m. after a robbery scare at the store and a messy office cleaning shift, peeked at Emma's sleeping form. The pink calamine splotch on her neck seemed harmless. She'd check it tomorrow. Tuesday brought no relief. The bump grew redder, harder, and itchier. Emma scratched absently at school, breaking the skin by lunch. Her friend Ava noticed. "That looks bad, Emma." Emma shrugged, trusting her mom's judgment. "It's just a bug bite." At home, Mrs. Jenkins, their 73-year-old neighbor, squinted at the mark. "Looks angry, dear. Ice it and tell your mama." Laura, distracted by a final notice of the electric bill, promised to check it that night, but fell asleep after paying bills online. Wednesday morning, Emma woke to a throbbing pain. In the bathroom mirror, the bump was larger, warm, with a bead of yellowish fluid. "Mom, it's worse," she said, voice wavering. Laura, late for a Quick-Stop meeting, applied antibiotic ointment. "Keep it clean, Em. We'll look tonight." Guilt gnawed at her, but work couldn't wait. What was Laura missing? Have you ever dismissed a small symptom that turned out to be serious? By Thursday, Emma's neck ached constantly, the swelling now a tight, red lump the size of a walnut. She skipped school, too uncomfortable to focus. Laura, torn between her daughter's pain and the threat of losing her job, gave her ibuprofen and ice packs. "We'll go to urgent care this weekend, I promise," she said, hating the desperation in her voice. Mrs. Jenkins checked on Emma, her voice sharp on the phone. "Laura, she's feverish. That lump looks bad. Laura, stuck at work. Beg for patience. Give her more ibuprofen. Call for fever hits 101. At the quick stop, her supervisor's warning rang. "Miss today, don't come back Monday." Emma, alone, felt the lump pulse, a strange sensation like something shifting beneath her skin. She tried not to cry, not wanting to worry her mom. Friday was a disaster. Emma could barely move, her fever climbing, the lump now visibly distorted her neck. At school, her classmate Liam's cruel comment, "That's like a horror movie," sparked whispers. The school nurse called Laura. "This needs a doctor today." Laura rushed to school, heart pounding, knowing her job was on the line. At Pinewood Urgent Care, the receptionist demanded $100 for an old balance. Laura's maxed-out credit card barely covered it. Dr. Feldman prescribed antibiotics and pain meds, warning, "If it worsens, ER immediately." Laura, counting $12.47 in her wallet, borrowed $20 from her mother for the antibiotics, skipping the pain meds. That night, Emma whimpered in her sleep, the lump growing hotter, tighter. Mrs. Jenkins's words echoed. "It's like my husband's boil in 82. Needed lancing." Laura clung to hope that the antibiotics would work. Saturday brought no improvement. Emma's fever spiked to 101.3, and she whispered, "Mom, it feels like something's moving." Laura's stomach dropped. The lump's dark center looked fibrous, almost alive. She called Dr. Feldman's office, but he was unavailable until Monday. The ER loomed, but the $2,500 deductible was a wall she couldn't climb. Mrs. Jenkins reported the apartment building's pest inspection. "Bed bugs everywhere, Laura. They're treating it, but you can't go back for days." Despair hit hard. Everything they owned was in that apartment. That evening, a knock brought Chloe Harper, their landlord's daughter, with a get-well card. Her father, Thomas Harper, followed, mentioning a pest issue and late rent. Laura's anger flared. "We don't have pests." But doubt crept in. Was the apartment the source? What was Emma hiding under that bandage? What's the toughest choice you made between health and survival? Sunday night, Emma's scream woke Laura. In the bathroom, Emma's flashlight revealed a horror. The lump had split, a black, leg-like thing emerging. Laura's nurse training failed her. Panic took over. As she grabbed Emma's coat, a knock came. Dr. Rachel Carter, Laura's estranged friend from nursing school, stood there, medical bag in hand. Mrs. Jenkins called. "I'm here to help." Their falling out over Laura choosing David years ago hung unspoken, but Rachel's focus was Emma. Examining the lump, she said, "This isn't normal. Hospital now." At County General, Rachel bypassed a crowded ER, admitting Emma directly. Dr. Grayson, a surgeon, confirmed, "We need to drain this immediately. It's compromising blood flow." In the surgical suite, Emma, numb but awake, clung to Laura's hand. Dr. Grayson incised a lump, draining thick pus, then froze. A large, engorged bedbug, swollen from Emma's blood, emerged, followed by two smaller ones. Laura gagged, horror mixing with guilt. "We got them out," Rachel assured Emma, who was shielded from the sight. Lab results revealed the bedbug's abnormal behavior, burrowing into skin, not just biting. Rachel suspected chemical exposure. Has Emma been near unusual environments? Laura mentioned the creek near Harper's chemical plant. Tests confirmed it. The creek was contaminated with insecticides and solvents, likely from illegal dumping, altering the bedbug's behavior. Social services arrived, questioning Laura's delay in seeking care. Rachel intervened. This was atypical. Laura acted when the severity became clear. A mysterious package, a teddy bear with a note claiming it was David's from Afghanistan, was found infested with the same chemically altered bedbugs. Rachel's investigation uncovered no Sergeant John Carter in Army records. The bear was a fake, planted to deflect blame from Harper's factory. The county prosecutor issued a warrant for Harper's offices, suspecting he orchestrated the infestation to devalue the Pinewood complex for a cheap buyout. Emma recovered, her scar a small reminder of her badge of courage. Laura accepted a pediatric nursing job at County General. Thanks to Rachel's recommendation, they moved into Rachel's brother's empty house, mending old wounds. Harper took a plea deal. 10 years in prison, restitution for tenants. The David Wilson Memorial Garden, built on community outrage, became a symbol of healing. Laura spoke at its groundbreaking. David believed in growing beauty. This community grew hope when we needed it most. Emma planted the first seed, touching her scar with pride. What's your badge of courage? Share your story in City. Let's keep Emma's light alive. Emma Wilson's scream in the night wasn't just a child's terror. It was a wake-up call for a community. From a contaminated creek to a criminal landlord, her story exposed hidden dangers and human greed. Laura's struggle, balancing survival and her daughter's health, mirrors the impossible choices too many face. Yet, from despair grew resilience, a mother's redemption, a friend's forgiveness, a neighborhood's unity. The David Wilson Memorial Garden stands as proof that even the darkest scars can bloom into something beautiful. Emma's courage, touching her scar with pride, reminds us our wounds tell stories of survival. What's your scar, your story of overcoming? Comment below with your thoughts and City. Let's grow this garden together.